What's up, boys? It's Russell3. Today I'm going to be giving you a follow-up to the Redragon S113 gaming keyboard and mouse combo review. In the first review, I went over all the basics of the keyboard. I also did an unboxing and initial sound test. So if you guys want to hear what the keyboard will sound like stock right as you get it out of the box, be sure you guys would go watch that video. But with that being said, let's get straight into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the issues that I've had with the keyboard. So far, I've only had one substantial issue, and that is when sometimes after about, I think it started happening 3 to 4 months after using the keyboard. When I pressed down on a key, it wouldn't fully register every single time. So I'd be holding it down and then eventually it'd stop and then start again. Or I'd just press it and sometimes it just wouldn't register at all. So to fix that, here's what I did. I got some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip and put it on the switch. I would get the Q-tip and the isopropyl alcohol and I would just dip it in. You don't really need to get much on there, just a little bit. And then you can just rub it around the switch. You're gonna wanna try and get everything on there, including the inside. And once you think that you fully covered it, you can put away the Q-tip and then just spam it. So you can either do this with your finger without the keycap, or you can put the keycap on and spam it that way. And you're just gonna wanna spam it for about 30 to 40 seconds, and then your issue should either be resolved or better. If it's still happening, you can just do it again over and over, and eventually it'll probably get resolved. Here's a quick sound test. Now before we start, again, I've had this keyboard for about 6 months, so the switches are pretty broken in, and I also foam modded the case. It's not a very good mod, but I did mod it, so here we go. And then here's the space bar. Foam modding a keyboard, it means that you put foam in the case of the keyboard. So yeah, you can see this was not a very good mod by me, and it's actually a very inconsistent height. So if you guys do this, try and get the foam as even as possible, because if you don't, something like this will happen, where when you try and press down on this to secure the PCB into the case again, it might not go down all the way on some parts. In my case, the right side does not push down all the way. The left side does, though. I should probably fix that, to be honest, but yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. The switches in this keyboard are on Top Me Browns, which are kind of notorious for being bad tactile switches, but switches are all preference, so if it's your thing, go for it. But I don't really like these switches because they're pretty scratchy when you press down on them, and it's more of a feeling than a sound, these scratches, but they also don't have a big bump. Like, if you have a tactile switch, basically when you press it down, it's not going to be a smooth press. It's going to be a little bump in there, which I personally like, but it's not a very big bump. I'd prefer a bigger bump. I talked about this in my last review quite a bit, but I really do not like these keycaps. You can see here, like, the inscriptions on them. They just really cluttered it up, especially on these WASD keys, but also here. Like, look at this. What is L1, L2, L3? I have no idea. C refresh, S refresh? I have no clue what that is. I'm pretty sure most people don't. So I'm not really sure why they included that, but that's just a little thing. This keyboard does come with a little kickstand, which is actually a pretty nice kickstand. It has a little rubber on it on the bottom, so it doesn't really move your keyboard when you shake it. And then also on the bottom here, you have 2 little rubber sort of like sticker things to help keep the keyboard in place. Now, something that you should keep in mind when buying this keyboard is it is cheap. The case is cheap plastic, the keycaps are cheap, the PCB is cheap. You can't expect like a super high quality keyboard for this, but for a budget option, it's really not all that bad. Am I gonna review the mouse? No. This is a follow-up video, and in the first video, I already went over it. I don't use the mouse, so there's no point in making a follow-up on it. If you guys wanna see the review for that, go check out the first video. Link will be down below in the description. But with that being said, let's talk about whether I would recommend this keyboard and mouse. Would I recommend the mouse? No. Would I recommend the keyboard? Probably not. Unless you're a budget warrior and really need a cheap option, I would just save up more for your peripherals and not cheap out on it. Especially if you're getting something like a really beefy PC. Don't just spend like $30 on your keyboard and mouse, guys. I would rather get an office mouse. This is not the mouse from the combo, but I would just get an office mouse instead of the mouse that comes with the bundle. And then again, save up for a better keyboard. But again, if you're a budget warrior, it works. If you like the sound of it, cool. If you like tactile switches, I guess go for it. I'd probably give this like a 7 out of 10 considering how much it is. The mouse, I would probably get like a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5. But yeah, I almost forgot to mention, here's the RGB. Awesome. No, you cannot change the colors of the RGB. There's all these different cool modes. You can check them all out in my first review. I listed them. But basically, here's what you should know. You're stuck with this colorway, but you can turn it down by pressing function, pressing down your S key until it turns off all the way. It'll also turn off the sides. If you want the sides on, just turn it back up. And there we go. Now the sides are back on. Mess with it. If you hold down the function key and press random keys, you'll probably find something else out that you can do with the RGB. But online, there's really not that many tutorials or anything in general that tells you what you're supposed to do when it comes to changing the RGB. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. If you have any questions about these products or just my overall experience with them in general, let me know down in the comments. I'll try and get back to you as fast as possible. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.